everyone, I'm Maggie Thrasher and welcome back to Thrasher Aquatics. Today I have kind of an interesting story for you. I am just going to be sitting here in front of my leopard gecko Kenneth's cage. Maybe you'll be able to see her at some point today, but I kind of doubt it because it's during the daytime. But I kind of wanted to go over why Thrasher Aquatics even exist. And it's kind of a long story and it's kind of a personal one, but I felt like it was really important to share that part of this experience for you to really understand my mission as a business. And well, I guess the biggest thing for me to get started on is I've struggled with mental health issues for a large portion of my life. Unfortunately, it's been very anxiety and depression based, and a few years ago I kind of hit a low point in my life. And I was really scared, I was really depressed, and my anxiety had gotten to a point where I couldn't leave my house. And it was getting to the point where I couldn't go to work because I would get so stressed and scared that I would see someone from my past that I wouldn't be able to handle seeing. And the reasons behind that are more personal than I really want to get into in this video, but the point of the matter is I was in a bad place and I was stuck in my house. And I kind of needed to find a way to be okay, to put it bluntly. I needed something to keep my mind busy, and I decided to start researching animals. And the main thing that I was really interested in was keeping a fish tank because I wasn't really good at the time with houseplants, and I knew that plants were something that I was really interested in and that I really wanted to be a part of my life. So I thought that a good way for me to experience that was through aquatic plants. And well, I put in a lot of research. In that portion of my time, I was probably looking up things about fish about 10 hours a day. It wasn't a healthy amount of research. It wasn't a thing that I was doing because it was a hobby. It was something that I was doing because it was a way for me to escape. And I started looking at all these forums, and I found this place called Aquaswap on Reddit. And me and my husband haven't always been the most financially stable, and I saw this as a way that I could get everything I needed to run some fish tanks without touching my personal expenses. So what I did was I started looking at this forum, Aquaswap, which is a place on Reddit where you can trade and sell aquatic plants or animals. And I started looking at it and seeing what people were buying all the time. And something that I saw pop up a lot were pest snails. And pest snails are typically something that people don't want in their aquarium, that they breed as food. And I kind of saw a little more in them. So I found this type of ram's worm that I owe my entire business to. It's absolutely wild what I built off of pest snails. And what I did was I grabbed these blue leopard ram's horns, and I was so excited because they were so precious. They were this beautiful blueberry blue with dark blue spots. And I started breeding them, which is not difficult to do with ram's horns. I put about 10 in a breeder box in my 55-gallon tank, and I just let them breed. And the babies would come out of the breeder box and just, take over my tank, and I was okay with that. And well, I started selling them. I think I was selling them for something like $10 shipped at the time, which I don't think you would be able to do at this point in time. But I sold so many snails that they were in every state. There were snails from my tank in every state in the United States, and I was so proud. And I made enough money to keep putting back in my tanks and buying plants to grow and flip. And I just kept expanding on this. I would buy a package of low-tech plants and I would put them in my tank and grow them up and then put together tons of little packages for other new keepers to enjoy. And I made a good amount of money on this that I just continued putting back into Thrasher Aquatics. And over the past 2 years, it's gone really well. It was going really well. I guess this kind of gets me into the next part of the story and why you probably clicked on this video. It was growing really well until about the 2-year mark. And right after my 2-year anniversary for Thrasher Aquatics, my cats got sick, both of them. I have one cat who's special needs and she's always sick. So we have a lot of vet bills that we deal with her on a regular basis just to some genetic issues that she has. And that we were expecting, but then our older cat got sick. And she's normally a really healthy cat, but she wasn't opening her third eyelids all the way. So we knew that she was extremely uncomfortable and not feeling well. And when we took her to the vet, they couldn't really figure out why she would be feeling this way. And we ended up having to run so many tests that I had to go into the Thrasher Aquatics budget in order to pay for the vet bills. And it ruined the business. I mean, I'd do it again. I would do it 10 times over. I would spend every penny I had to make sure that these cats are okay. And the animals have always been my first priority. Whether it's a cat, it's a lizard, it's a snake, it's a fish, they are always my top priority. And I want that to be the case. So when it failed, I was devastated. And we put in all this money for her vet bills and we still never found out what was wrong. They ran every test they could. And she ended up just recovering on her own, which I am so thankful for because she shouldn't have. I mean, she was obviously not feeling well and she lost a ton of weight. And I'm still scared of why we don't know, but we're keeping an eye on her with the vets and everything to make sure that everything's okay. But I had to put in a lot of money to make sure that she was okay for the time that we had her. And again, I'd do it again, but it stopped my business. I was so low on stock that I didn't have enough to sell, or I didn't have enough to sell in order to make money to buy more stock because I'd spent my stock money on my vet bills. And it meant that Thrasher Aquatics wasn't here for like 3 months. And I got really depressed again. I got so sad because Thrasher Aquatics has become my day-to-day. I quit my job about a year ago to work on Thrasher Aquatics full-time. So when it failed, I was devastated. Like, it crushed me. And I spent about 3 months just trying to clean up my house, clean up the animal rooms. I upgraded every single enclosure, which is why I have this beautiful, beautiful 40-gallon leopard gecko tank behind me. I did everything I could with no money. And I kind of hit a point where I had done everything. I had cleaned up my living spaces and my workplaces, and I have a good place to work and run this business again. And the money still wasn't there. Like, my personal expenses are not enough for me to continue building the business the way that I was. So what I did was bumped my tripod. What I did was I did a fundraiser, and I reached out to a community that I used to run called Taplop. And I went on their Discord page and I reached out to my old friends and I said, hey, help. Please help. Who would be interested in a fundraiser sale for Thrasher Aquatics and the Rare Plant Co-op? And I got a fantastic response from that. And it didn't go as well as I was hoping it would, but it went well enough for me to restart my aquatics division and my plant division, which was more than I ever thought would be possible in this short amount of time. And, well, I moved all the money to my business bank account because I wanted it available for my wholesale orders that next week. And then I got robbed. I don't know how it happened. My bank card was always in my possession. I haven't used that bank card in months because there hasn't been any money in that account in months. And I moved about $900 to this bank account, and that was every penny I had to restart this business from scratch. Because in order to get that money, I had to sell every last bit of stock I have left. And it was just gone. I got a text message the next day saying that there had been a charge on my account for $0.00, and they wanted to make sure it was me, and I freaked out. I thought it was my personal checking, and it wasn't. It was my bank account, and I was on the phone with the fraud department, and I was just on hold waiting for them to get back to me, and I looked at my bank account, and I suddenly realized that it was my business account, and it was empty. Like, when I say it was empty, it was empty. They spent all of my money in 3 transactions, and it was just gone. And there was nothing that they could do to help me at that point because the charges hadn't gone through, but the companies were still holding the money because, well, someone charged it to them, and the bank couldn't do anything because, well, it's a cardholder agreement. Like, they can't stop payments that were already charged. So I had to just sit there and wait for this criminal to successfully charge my account and take this money. And that's kind of where I am now. I got off the phone this morning with the bank. I have finally just got this charges disputed, but it's gonna be another 2 weeks before I see that money, and I'm still sitting here with shipping boxes, or shipping, excuse me, I'm still sitting here with orders that I need to ship out that I don't have money to ship. And thankfully these customers have been so understanding, because I'd be mad if I paid $90 for a philodendron and then the company was just like, hey, I can't ship it to you right now, I don't have the funds. And I'm so thankful that they're being so kind and understanding, and that they were there to help me in the first place. And I cannot thank my fans, my friends, my family enough for helping me through this, because at this point I might be in a tough position where I have to wait and get this money back, but I'm okay. And in a few weeks, I'm gonna have Thrasher Aquatics back. Yeah, this sucks. I might miss another wholesale order and have to wait a few months to get the plant division back, but I'm going to be able to start TA again. And that is more than I could ever ask for. Because if it was left for me to do it on my own, it'd be years. It'd be years before I was in a stable enough financial situation to be able to invest in this business again. And I didn't have years worth of mental health left. I didn't. TA is what I found to make me feel okay in my hardest time. And I need it here. I need to see my animals thriving and constantly upgrading. I need to see this business booming and all my plants growing and my customers happy. I need that in my life. It is what I am passionate about, and it's what I want to continue forever. I want this to be my life. So while I might be in a slump right now and some major ass has just stolen all my dreams for the moment, I'm gonna be okay, and I honestly can't thank everyone enough. And I just wanted to make this video because here in a couple of weeks I'm gonna be starting my YouTube channel, and I wanted this to be one of the videos that I pushed on my launch. I wanted this to be available. The reason why I started Thrasher Aquatics and everything that's gone wrong, and why it's so important to me, and why it's so important for me to make this content and make sure that it is shared, because I started this business with a goal, and that goal was to make sure that keepers like myself had a ethical source of animals, where they know that the animals that they are going to be receiving were bred in a pet quality home. Where, and what I mean by that is, it's not, I don't have geckos in tiny tubs or rack systems or anything like that to conserve space. Every animal that I have is in a full enclosure where they should be. Breeders, my personal pets, they all have what they're supposed to be. And I want to make sure that other keepers like myself know what that's supposed to look like. Because a few months ago, I didn't know this is what a leopard gecko enclosure should look like. I didn't. And it's important to me to make sure that other people's animals are not suffering from the outdated info that other people have as reptile keepers. And I hope that you can support me in that mission and help spread good, ethical keeping, whether it's a breeder environment or it's just a pet environment. Both should be happy. If you're using an animal to breed, to make money off of in the future, you should be giving that animal the best home. And you shouldn't be breeding any kind of morph that has issues down the line. You shouldn't. And that's just how it should be. And I hope that by watching this video, by being on this channel at all, that you agree with me, because I don't necessarily want fans who don't. That's awful. That's awful. But it's so important to me to see these animals be taken care of, that if you aren't part of that mission, I'm going to politely ask you to not be a part of my company's growth. And I think that that's okay, because it's important to take care of your animals. And if I leave anyone with any message from this video, I hope it's that even when life is hard, when you don't really know what's going to happen and you're really afraid, things get better. And you might hit a hard spot down the road later, but you will find that thing that you're passionate about that makes you happy to be a part of this life. And TA is that for me. So thank you again for watching this video and learning a little bit more about me. And I hope it explains a little more about what I'm doing here. Again, this was Maggie Thrasher. You've watched Thrasher Aquatics, and I'm so thankful for you. If you want to see more, subscribe. If you don't, don't. Other than that, I hope you have a fantastic day. I'll see you later. Bye.